Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 8 of the Creepy Cascadia podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope everybody had a lovely holiday for those who celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people don't. I think that was like some non-Americans. I think it's more indigenous, people with ties to indigenous.
Yeah, and I don't think all
like
other
Columbus
countries,
Day.
I don't think all other countries celebrate. Like, I know Canada has their own Thanksgiving, which is like in October,
Yeah.
I think. My friend Amanda always posts happy Thanksgiving to my Canadian family because she's half Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually just got back from a week in Minneapolis with the Langbean clan, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We did kind of a Christmas, Thanksgiving, some birthdays. Adam's parents' birthdays fall right around Thanksgiving, so we celebrated those. And since we're not going to be going back out for Christmas, we got to open some presents, which was super fun.
Yep. Yeah.
You know?
We did our, it's not a white elephant. That's more like office, get rid of small things. This is we draw names out of a hat and you just have a spending limit. Mm-hmm. We did that style.
Instead of everybody buying for each other.
Yeah, we used to do just bring a gift, like true white elephant. And people kind of bought stuff that maybe they thought other people would like, or people just ended up walking away with the gifts that they brought.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what you do at a white elephant. You always buy something that you would want, just in case.
Yeah.
And so then this time, it's you send your list, you tell somebody what you want, and you keep it under a certain dollar amount. And all in all, I think that's better. For the most part, I get stuff that I wanted.
Yeah. Which I hate trying to think of stuff to give or ask for because, usually if there's something that we want, we just buy it.
Well, yeah,
Right?
Because
Because we don't have any kids, so it's not a big deal for us to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I generally stick to, things that, I haven't bought for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's what haven't I bought that, maybe I'd...
Yeah.
I'd pull a trigger on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, of course, I always do, I always go on Amazon and see,
Find a million other things that you'd want.
Well, yeah, or it's I find things on sale, and then I'm like, ooh.
Hey, if you want to buy this, you buy it right now. Or you just buy it for yourself when you're on there.
Yeah, one of the two, right?
I guess I'll just have to think of something else to ask for.
I'm pretty sure I bought the Fire and Blood. It's the book, the Game of Thrones book that the House of Dragons series, the new one, is based on.
I thought that was what your mom got you.
No.
Oh no, you bought it for yourself because it came with Jack's present.
Yeah,
That's right.
I had to hit that dollar threshold for the free shipping or whatever,
I don't think that's a thing anymore with Amazon.
Well, it wasn't free shipping, it was free 2-day shipping.
I said that and then I realized it depends on what you buy because there are some things that only ship for free after a certain dollar amount.
Yeah.
So that is right.
Yeah.
Oh, chilly.
Yeah.
It's cold in here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like we haven't turned up our heat all that much.
No.
And tonight's going to be a cold one.
We might want to turn it up to 70.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
Because I think we actually have it going down to 63 or something at night.
No, it's 68.
You sure about that?
No. Now that you say that, no.
I think we have it set for 68 when we're awake.
I think it's a hold all day 68. Okay, well, I'll let you look at it.
I was going to say, when the guy was here, we set it for a 4-cycle.
Oh.
And we did 68 while we're awake at night, 62, 63, or maybe even 65 at night when we're asleep.
Yeah, because we're hot sleepers.
And then at 6 a.m., I think we had it kick back up to 68 or 70 for when you wake up.
Man, you did all kinds of things when I wasn't here.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that because I feel like it's been running cold.
I've been feeling like it's cold too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways.
Make sure the furnace light's on.
God, wouldn't that suck? We just put an AC and now our fucking furnace doesn't work.
Yeah. Should just need a relight.
Yeah.
If it's out.
I've heard the heat kick on.
I have too.
Yeah.
So. Should be good.
Yeah. But yeah, so went to Minneapolis. We're happy to be home. We definitely missed the babies a lot. They missed us.
Yeah, Winnie's been really needy since we got back.
She's been like really clinging. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but like last night or the night before, I noticed 3 or 4 different times where Jax would come upstairs and she would go lay by him, you know? Not totally on him because he doesn't really like her that much, but she would lay just like behind him, or, you know, she jumped on the couch when he was sleeping downstairs on the pillow and she sat on the actual couch cushion.
Oh, okay.
And she was like just laying there with him.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that, like, you know, hopefully I think he's being nice to her when we're gone.
Yeah. I think I literally just told you that. I was like, what did Jax do? Why has Jax been mean to her? So
he's like, God, I've had to deal with your little bitch all week while you guys were gone. It's my turn to take a break.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely didn't seem to eat as much tonight. But
yeah. Maybe she's gone through spurts where she's a good eater and then I don't notice her eating very much at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did swallow that string, so hopefully she doesn't have like a strangled intestine or something.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, Thanksgiving's over, so we are now in the Christmas season.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mariah Carey came out of hibernation.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was lurking there quite a while.
Yeah. Bitch.
Like ever since Halloween ended, I think people were
I think even before Halloween. That's some bullshit.
Yep. But now Thanksgiving is over, for sure people can officially have their houses decorated and
ours
play
is decorated.
Christmas music and yeah.
Still for Halloween.
Yeah, we did not do a good job of tearing down our Halloween stuff the weekend after.
I know, I was going to. We're going to have to do it this weekend.
Yeah. Sometime.
Or this week.
Snowmageddon.
Fuck, I wish it was. We're waiting for the snow, and I really, really, really want it to snow so bad.
Yeah. It rarely snows where we live. Other places on the peninsula get snow. Yeah. For sure.
Well, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that because we're getting it early, it means we're gonna have more snow this year. Mm. Yeah.
I mean, we did put in AC. Time for a cold year.
Exactly. We like it cold anyway, so. Well, anyway, so since we're in Christmas season, I thought that it would be fun, and by fun, I mean seasonal. So this month's cases are going to be centered around or adjacent to Christmas.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Like our own little spooky Advent.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But before we get started on the terribleness of today's case, I want to start us off with a happy memory. So, babe, what is your favorite Christmas memory? Or one of your favorite Christmas memories?
Oh, favorite Christmas memory?
I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. Favorite Christmas memory.
Your eyes are like corresponding with your clicks.
Yeah.
Or like a favorite toy that you got for Christmas, or, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what, the problem is I'm probably trying to think of like the one when we had pretty good Christmases. The problem is the times I was like a shitbag, like
no,
like the time I was an ungrateful little brat.
Well,
like
I think all kids are that at several points in their life.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was real young, we all got, I think it was Transformers.
Ooh.
We all got Dinobots.
Okay.
They were the dinosaur Transformers. Mm. So instead of transforming into cars or planes or whatever, they transformed into dinosaurs.
I didn't know those were a thing.
Yeah. The Dinobots.
Dynamite!
Yep. And I think and maybe one of the reasons that I remember that one so much was like, we got the full set. Between me and my two brothers, we got like the full set. Mm-hmm. But I got Grimlock, the T-Rex, the leader of the Dinobots.
Oh, God.
Whereas previously, my older brother got Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Okay.
So, he always got the primo. I mean, he was older than me, so like, I mean, it makes some sense. But then like, I also really liked dinosaurs at the time, so yeah. So my parents got, I got maybe because I really wanted them to, but yeah. So I got Grimlock, the T Rex, which was like the leader. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Question.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember the shitbag ones way more.
No,
like,
don't. I mean,
I remember
little kids are assholes around Christmas. I feel like because they're just like too overstimulated. There's too much going on. Like it's really hard to not be a little butthole.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can. I mean, I can specifically tell you the one that always I think of as the classic was like, it was like had a bunch of gifts. So we used to always do Christmas Eve at one grandparent's house and then Christmas Day at the other grandparent's house. Mm-hmm. They lived in the same town.
Yeah.
So we'd go more often than not. We'd go to the hometown to my grandparents, and then like do Christmas Eve at one, Christmas Day at the other. That was the tradition. So we were at my my mom's parents, and it was Christmas Eve. You know, so it's some of the first presents we get to open right away.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, I think she was like really excited. She was like, oh, like open this one, you know.
Oh God,
like,
okay.
And I opened it up, and it was a unicorn wind chime, like the box was a wind chime with unicorns on it.
I feel like I've heard this story.
You probably have.
Okay.
Right? It's
the unicorn wind chime really gave me
flashbacks.
Yep.
Sparked something in
rung a bell or rung a chime.
Okay. Really rang a bell for you?
Yeah.
But I was like, I didn't even open it. Like, I saw the box and just, like, sloughed it off to the side or whatever. And it was just like, yeah, this is what I even, like, made a comment, like, yeah, this is what I want. I'm real into unicorns. Like,
oh, my God.
You know, I probably would have been in 5th, 6th, or 7th grade at this time.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
What was in the box, though? What's in the box?
What's in the box? So it was a wind chime, but it had koala bears on it.
Oh, right.
Which I loved koalas. Koalas were like my favorite animal, stuffed animal, you know. Like that's the whole motif, koala bears.
Yeah.
So I loved it after I found out it was a koala bear, but I'd already shit-talked the present, right? Like, I was already like, yeah, this is what I want. I'm probably a wind chime, you know, and just laid it on thick enough to where my mom was like, ungrateful little bastard. You know what I mean? It's like, like she was straight up like, I should take all your presents away. Like one of those moments, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, you didn't even look inside the box. You just like, you know, and she probably put thought into it too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, it's not just some random store-bought
toy. Yeah.
thing.
No, I know. I think a lot of parents do that though. Like they put it in weird boxes just to like fuck with their kids.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess my family used to do that.
Well, yeah. So I didn't even think that was that. I just think that it was the box that it came in. It was like
it wasn't actually
wind chime
reflective.
company that you could buy any number of things to be on the design.
But the box just had one standard like image on it.
Yeah, it came in a
gotcha.
unicorn box, not a koala box, which makes sense. Why would a company spend so much money on all the different boxes?
But unicorn was really the one they went with, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And it was like pink. It was very girly too. It was just it hit the wrong nerve with me, and I shit talked it, and then.
Wait,
my shit talking hit the wrong nerve on my mom, and yeah, I remember having to try to apologize to her.
Holidays are so like Christmas is so stressful for that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like getting gifts is a very stressful thing because I feel like a lot of people. I'm speaking for myself right now. Like me getting a gift, I really want to make sure that I get somebody something that I know they're going to love, that's going to like not just be something that they're going to toss into a garage sale in the next year or whatever. And it's something that's useful. And it's hard because I put way too much like emphasis on getting the perfect gift. And so it stresses me out trying to get gifts for people. Because I think like gift giving is one of my big love languages, you know?
Yeah.
So I really want to make sure that I get somebody something good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do believe that, yeah, like, I think I told the family, you know, it's like gift giving is definitely one of your love languages. You really like getting people gifts, you know, it's like you want to help celebrate accomplishments, special days, all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, enough of the happy stuff. Let's get to the case.
Get to some murder.
Let's get to some murder. And this is a really sad one. I mean, they're all sad. Any murder cases are super sad, but this one is just, it's like a kid murder. It's not, but to me, it feels just as bad because it's almost like a vulnerable population.
Okay.
So tonight we're going to talk about a case that happened right before Christmas, and it involves the murder of an elderly couple. And we're going to be talking about Ed and Minnie Maurin. And before we talk about their murders, I want to talk a little bit about Ed and Minnie. Edward Ed Maurin was born on June 11th, 1904 in Chehalis, Washington. And Wilhelmina Minnie, as she went by.
Wilhelmina. I was wondering, I was like, Minnie's kind of an uncommon name, I feel like.
I feel like it's always in a shortened, it's an abbreviation or a shortened name of like a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Winnie is Winifred.
Yeah.
Winnie.
You went with, she said Wilhelmina?
Wilhelmina, yep.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's not like Wilma.
Or Mina.
Or Mina.
That was a popular one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Wilhelmina Minnie Maurin was born on December 25th, 1901. Obviously, Maurin is her married name.
Yeah.
She was born in Roseland, Nebraska, and her maiden name was Kirpes. Kirpes. Kirps.
Yeah. You'd probably throw out like three more and nobody listening could still spell it.
Kirparis. Kirpes.
Carapace.
It's almost spelled like herpes, but it's Kirpes, so that's why I went with it.
Yeah.
Minnie was actually married previously to a man named Louis Hadler, who sadly passed away in 1958. Louis and Minnie were actually married in a double ceremony with her sister Elizabeth on May 23rd, 1923. Elizabeth was marrying Louis's brother Matt. And fun fact, while researching, I actually came across an article that discussed how Minnie and her four sisters had all married these 5 brothers that were Hadlers. And the story even made the news when Fox Movie Tone came to interview the couples, I guess I should say, about their unique story.
Interesting. Which
I thought my 2 aunts marrying brothers and their cousin marrying a third brother was weird, but 5 brothers marrying 5 sisters from the same family, that's different. I mean, I guess back in the 50s, if you're bored, or the 20s.
It's a real small town, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. In the 20s, when they got married, like, that's the thing. So that was kind of a cool, when I was researching, looking up her name, this popped up, and I'm like, well, what's this? And so I read through, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Sounds like one of those, what is it, the Taming of the Shrew, where the oldest daughter has to get married before the youngest daughter can. So 5 sisters married 5 brothers. Mm-hmm. But that was her first marriage.
That was her first marriage, yep.
Do we got a black widow on our hands here?
No.
Okay.
So when Minnie was still married to Louis, they had 3 kids. They had 2 sons, Delbert and Dennis, and then a daughter, Hazel.
Delbert.
I know. When I saw that, I started giggling. I don't know why Delbert's such a funny name, but it is.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's like Dilbert, but with an E instead of an I.
It is, exactly it. After Louis passed in 1958, Minnie met and married Ed on May 13th, 1961. And
yeah, so she's like 60. This is an old marriage here.
Yeah.
She was born 1901, married second husband 1961. So no wonder she got a younger guy.
I mean, he's only younger by 2 years, but still.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to make it bigger. I can't. My eyes ain't what they used to be.
Yeah. Where's your reading glasses?
I know. They're my driving glasses, and they're in the car. Yeah, they were, later in life, they met. They were seasoned. Yep.
Seasoned. Got a little salt and pepper in their hair.
I'm sure they had a lot of salt in their hair.
Yeah.
several of the articles I read, and both, I watched a couple of documentaries about them, and it said Ed and Minnie were always together. They ran their errands together. They went to church together. On the show Ice Cold Killers, one of the sheriffs they interviewed said it was rare to see Ed without Minnie and Minnie without Ed. And I just imagine my grandparents, because my grandparents are that way. They're always, anytime they go to get, like, they're normally together. Like, when you see one, you see the other.
Yeah. Or if you really want to feel bad, if our listeners really want just a heartbreaking image, they can just think of the couple from Up.
God damn it. Why did you have to bring that up? So they were like literally this cute little couple. Everybody knew them and everybody loved them, kind of is the general consensus.
Yeah.
And again, nobody's going to talk ill of the dead. We've already been over that.
Did they stay in a small town? Did you say where they met and where they were living?
Well, I actually was just getting to it.
Okay.
Look at you with the good questions.
Exactly.
So the couple owned a farm off of Highway 12 in the small town of Ethel, Washington, which is just about 20 miles outside of Chehalis, which is in Lewis County here in Washington. Ethel only has a population of about 600 people. And they also sold Christmas trees off their farm, which is just the cutest thing ever.
Goes to why they got murdered.
Because they sold Christmas trees? So most sources I saw also said that Ed and Minnie were as generous as they were adorable. They would always lend a hand and help anyone they could, regardless of who they were, what they needed. A lot of the shows and articles said Ed was the type of guy, he would literally give you the shirt off his back.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of guy. And they were also extremely reliable, which is why it was so odd on the afternoon of December 19th, 1985, they weren't home to greet their family and friends for their annual Christmas party. From the sounds of it, this was a big shindig that Ed and Minnie spent days getting ready for and loved this yearly tradition. So for them to not be home is odd, to say the least. More and more folks started arriving at their home with neither of the Maurins in sight. Eventually, some of their family members arrived and were able to get into the house, and what they saw only caused more concern. So inside the house, they found some bank statements scattered in various spots, some even in the bathroom, which...
Bank statements in the bathroom?
Which is obviously pretty out of place. Like, who keeps their bank statements in the bathroom? Unless you're reading it while you're pooping or something, you're not going to leave your bank statements in the bathroom.
Yeah, no.
And they were very organized. Like they saw the shoe box that was sitting there that had their bank statements that had been like pulled out of this box. Yeah. The couple was pretty careful with their personal info. It wasn't like them to leave bank statements out, especially when they were expecting company for a large party.
Yeah.
Family also found the bed unmade, Ed's watch, and Minnie's purse all in the house. Now this is odd because Minnie rarely, if ever, left the house without her purse. Ed always had his watch on, and the bed not being made wasn't like the couple. They would always make their bed before getting ready for the day. That afternoon, the family called to report Ed and Minnie missing. And I don't believe Ed had any children of his own that I could find. I think it was just Minnie that had the kids, and he didn't have any, or not any that could be reported that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So police arrive, and they also start going through the house while multiple search parties are formed to go out and look for Ed and Minnie.
Gotta find the car.
That's right.
That's what you say. If
yep.
People aren't at home, where's their car?
Now remember, we're in late December, and the weather can get pretty chilly out in Lewis County. I actually Googled what the weather was around that time, and it was like low 30s. So that's pretty cold for...
Yeah, you don't want to be outside for any
amount of time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like in your 80s. Because at the time of this case, Minnie was 84 and Ed was 81.
Okay, yeah.
And they're still throwing big old parties. Like, God, I hope that's going to be us.
I mean, if you've lived during that time, like, I almost called them boomers, but they're not boomers. They're actually like, I think they're just shy of greatest generation probably too. Like, I feel like greatest generation are the people who like went and fought World War II. Is like who we think of.
Could be.
But they were like 40 when World War II happened.
Yeah, that was a little old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he went, maybe he didn't, but yeah, it's.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah. So, party it up. I mean, even with your 80s, if you see that much stuff. That's how we'll be, or that's how Gen Z will be. Be like, recession after recession, like, right as we were, like, hitting adulthood and...
Let's turn up.
Trying to find jobs,
Yep. Couldn't buy a house because of all the avocado toast.
Right? Yeah. Just like... Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so many whatever. Yeah.
Yep. So again, chilly outside. So I think a big worry was that maybe they had broken down somewhere and were stuck, but it was getting cold. Again, like we said, it's not good. It can get pretty cold out there.
So before you go any further, you said the family couldn't get into the house until like family members were there, so there wasn't a forced entry. It wasn't like the door was off the hinge or anything.
Nope. No signs of forced entry. Nothing was like, no broken windows that I saw. Nothing that like indicated the house had been broken into.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said the purse and the watch were there. Those would be things you would steal, like, right? Yeah, so the bank statement thing is just odd, yeah.
Yeah.
But.
Well, it gets weirder.
Okay.
So, back at Ed and Minnie's place, police started dusting for fingerprints. And one of the documentaries that I watched mentioned that police had found some footprints that didn't match Ed or Minnie's or any of the people that had shown up. I think it said it was like in the bathroom, like on the tub or something. Like it sounds like they stepped on the ledge of the tub is what I'm assuming. Or...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's really weird. Like they came in the bathroom window, or
I don't know. No, I don't.
Bathroom window,
I don't think it was anything with the bathroom window. It was like they were standing on the edge of the tub, or they found it in the bathroom. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, and it wasn't the bathtub, but like in the bathroom, which would make sense because they did find those bank statements in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't understand what money laundering really means.
I just washed it in the sink, right? God damn it.
I took a shower with it. It's clean now. I'm clean, right? This is my money.
It's been laundered.
If you shower with money, that's your money now.
That's right. I licked it. It's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they found some, no hit on the fingerprints in the house. They did find a footprint from one of the documentaries said.
Yeah, footprints are weird, right? Like, footprints are like, you have to find the matching shoe.
Yeah.
Or, like, maybe you can figure out what size and or model. If it's got, like, a Nike swoosh or something on the bottom, that's about it. Like.
Well, that's how they helped identify the Night Stalker, was by a footprint, because he wore a very unique, specific brand of shoe.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
But it's not like your fingerprint. It's not identifiable to just you.
Right.
Like.
Well, and you gotta remember too, we're in 1985, so the
fingerprints are a thing.
Yeah, fingerprints are a thing, but like footprints, I don't know how far like that type of technology had gone at that point. Even fingerprints, really, like
Yeah, I think they would document it, take a picture, take a whatever. Try to like get some kind of replica of it again, so that when they found a shoe or something, they could be like, well, this is the same type of shoe, and
right.
It's more circumstantial.
Well, it's more something that you could use.
Fingerprints are like hard. DNA is hard.
Yeah.
Tied to one person, like, but a shoe. There's probably tons of shoes out there.
Well, and the shoe print, I think, is almost just part of, like, building your case for when you do find a suspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it helps identify anybody, but it could help pinpoint somebody that you already have in mind. Like, you could test their shoes to see if it matched.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's you arrest somebody, and then when you go through their stuff, you're like, hey, here's that shoe that...
Hey, yo, let me get a peep at them sneaks, bitch.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Ed had a truck, but it was still parked at home. Their 69 Chrysler, however, was missing. So their car is gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
And early the next morning, so this... What's up?
Pickup truck probably only seats a few people.
Very good.
If it's like, it'd probably fit the husband and wife and Minnie. But maybe not a third person, whereas that car could.
Very keen observation, Mr. Langbein.
Yeah.
Early the next morning, which would be December 20th, police receive a call from someone saying that they had spotted the Maurin's car at Yardbirds, which is a local mall grocery store-esque. It's actually still there. I don't know if it's still operational. I actually remember going to that Yardbirds as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like, it was kind of like a grocery store. It kind of reminds me, like, thinking now of grocery outlet-esque.
Okay.
There was also, I think, there was a Sunbirds and a Yardbirds. And there's a big black crow in front of the store that is like the Yardbird. I remember going as a kid, and there's like a restaurant there. It was
is it giant like the pheasant there in Huron, where it's like the Pheasant Lounge, and there's a giant statue of a pheasant like out by the highway?
There's a giant statue of this bird.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the crow like a giant statue, or is it more like a human size?
Oh no, it's bigger than a human for sure.
Bigger than a human? Okay. Yeah.
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 So
memorable.
Yeah. So Yardbirds was located in Chehalis, which again is about 20 miles from the Maurin farm. Police head out and see the car parked in the lot, but no one's around. The glass, now I saw it was either fogged up or frosted over. Can't 100% confirm. I heard both. Excuse me. But a police officer blew on the glass to clear up the fog or melt the ice in order to preserve any potential fingerprints.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't want to just break the glass in? Okay.
No. Because at this point they don't know if a crime has occurred, right? They just, I mean, obviously it's very suspicious.
Yeah.
But they're not 100% sure. And if they're like, ooh, Ed would be so pissed if I broke in the glass to his car, you know?
Classic car. It's about 20 years old, I think he said. Yeah.
79. It was 85. 69.
At least it's 69.
It was 69. How can I get that wrong? That's like one of my favorite numbers.
I mean, some of those 60 cars from the 60s are just classic nowadays, or when I was growing up in the 80s, 90s. Yeah.
So this officer blows on the window, and what he saw wasn't very good. The interior of the car was covered in what appeared to be blood. There was a red blanket that was blocking some of like the front of the car, like the front seat. But they could definitely see some blood. And once they got the car opened, they found damage to the interior dashboard and like the front panel.
Okay.
Eventually they would confirm that the damage that they found was from shotgun pellets. Obviously this was not news anyone was hoping for, but there still was a glimmer of hope. There were no bodies in the car. Only blood. Maybe they had escaped whatever had happened in the car, or someone had stolen the car and used it for nefarious purposes. Because at this time, they didn't know whose blood was actually in the car, so they could still hold on to the hope that maybe Ed and Minnie were okay.
Yeah.
Searches continued for days with no luck. No sign of Ed or Minnie had been found, and they were now going on 5 days with no word or sighting from the couple. Unfortunately,
it's not looking good.
A call on Christmas Eve, so
December 24th. Of course.
From a man out on a logging road would end the search for the Maurins. This caller had been out on a logging road and saw what he thought was a CPR dummy. Spoiler alert, it's never a CPR dummy or a mannequin.
In the middle of the woods.
Never, I mean, I've seen some weird shit out in the middle of the woods on like logging roads. Never a mannequin or a CPR dummy. But he got closer and he realized that it was an actual body.
He got closer. He's like, free. They're giving out CPR dummies over here.
For free.
On this road.
Yeah. So.
He's like, I'm about to have me a new wife.
It was a sex doll. One of those real ones that are like thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I got a date.
Bro.
At least use an apple pie. It's Christmas.
Why does it got to be apple pie for Christmas?
I don't know. I feel like a watermelon is less like a vagina.
The watermelon is definitely not a Christmas thing. They're well out of season.
Well, I'm saying a watermelon doesn't feel like a lady bit. Anyways.
How do you know? Are you not like...
I don't know. Have you ever fucked a watermelon?
I have never.
Well, I think you
it's from me, myself, and Irene.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So, unfortunately, police rushed to the site and confirmed that it was Minnie Maurin. Not far from her body was Ed and some nearby brush. Both had been shot from behind, Minnie near her shoulder and neck, and Ed almost square in the back. At the time of their murders, like I said, Minnie was 84 and Ed was 81.
Yeah, I don't even think it would take a shotgun. It wouldn't take that much, though. Mortally wound an old person.
And behind the back. Like,
yeah.
That's such a fucking bitch ass. Like, I think you'd have to.
That means they were sitting in the back seat and they were in the front seat, making them drive somewhere and at gunpoint. And,
yep.
Yep.
So the family's obviously devastated with this discovery.
Yeah.
And they were also extremely angry. The entire community was. Who could do this to an elderly couple and why? Yeah. This is 1985 in a small community, so their sense of safety had been shattered. I'm sure most folks at this time didn't even lock their doors. In a small town like that, I feel like you probably feel far removed from the terrible crimes like Green River Killer, who was active at that time. Yeah. And actually, the Green River Killer, they thought he may have even dumped some bodies near Chehalis. I don't think that's ever been proven, but they thought. So. Now that they have Ed and Minnie, they're hell-bent on figuring out who did this. They're trying to piece together the little clues that they have, and now I saw some different things. They either received a call from a local bank teller, or some sources say that they had actually found a receipt in the car from a withdrawal for the bank. Either way, police got in touch with the bank teller, and she told them that Ed Maurin had called on December 19th and asked to withdraw $8,500 in cash.
That's a lot of money.
Now, for reference, that's around $22,000 in today's money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. So, like I said, for reference, that was around $22,000 in today's money.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a lot of money, but...
It's a lot of money to pull out without any reason, you know?
Well, so... What had happened, Ed called the bank first to ask if it would be available, as a former bank teller of a credit union, I can actually tell you that cash on hand is often limited, especially in 1985.
Yeah.
In rural areas, they're not going to generally have that much money on hand. So I'm assuming he probably had at some point maybe pulled out larger sums of money and knew that you had to call ahead, because he did call ahead.
Okay.
So the teller let him know it would be available later in the day, and when Ed arrived later on that afternoon, on the 19th, the teller thought it was odd that Minnie wasn't with him.
Okay.
Most of the sources I saw said that it was Minnie who mostly took care of the finances for the couple, so it was really out of character for Ed not only to be doing the withdrawal, but for especially Minnie not to be with him.
Yeah.
The teller said as much to Ed, and he replied that Minnie wasn't feeling well and was out in the car. One of the documentaries said that Ed told the teller that he needed the money because he and Minnie were going up north to purchase a car with their kids. Their children quickly disproved that, because none of them had any plans with their parents to go out and buy a car, especially on the day of their Christmas party and with Minnie being sick, quote unquote. The teller let Ed know that the money hadn't arrived yet, so he actually went back out to his car to wait. While waiting, the delivery of cash was made to the bank, and the teller went out, customer service, small towns. The teller went out to the car, or to the parking lot, to let Ed know, like, the money was ready. He met her halfway in the parking lot, and she reported feeling like he was trying to keep her away from the car. Oh. Like he didn't want her near the car.
Yeah.
She reported seeing someone else in the car, but she couldn't confirm whether or not it was Minnie. Ed took the cash and left, and that was the last known sighting of him alive that we know of.
Okay.
With all of these tips, the police suspect that the motive for this double murder was money, obviously.
Yeah.
They were fairly private with their finances, and the police started looking at the immediate family.
Was like $8,500 capping them out, or, I mean, like...
I don't think so.
Really, it sounds like a lot of money, but if they're like old, retired...
I mean they're in their 80s at this point. You have to think they probably got a nice nest egg.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would have to believe that they're living off something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so they started looking at the family. Yeah. They had a grandson, Mike Hadler, who was known to have a temper. They said he drank a lot, was kind of a young.
Black sheep?
Not even a black sheep, I don't think.
Troublemaker or just...
Yeah, kind of a, not quite a troublemaker, but kind of a troublemaker.
Okay. He runs with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it sounded like. He was also a smoker, which the police found cigarette butts in the back of Ed and Minnie's car, but neither Ed nor Minnie smoked.
Okay.
From what I saw, it sounds like Mike was looked at pretty hard by police, along with some other family members. But a few of the articles I saw, and I think on one of the documentaries, they actually started to reconsider that theory because Ed and Minnie had lived through the Great Depression.
Yeah.
They had their money spread out into several different financial institutions.
Okay.
So for them to take a big chunk out of one, if it was a family member, somebody close like that, they would know that there's more money to be had. And there's also more, like if they were really trying to, they would take them around to all these different places to take out money, right?
Yeah.
Is what the theory was.
Yeah, you do it over time and...
Yeah. So the police attended Ed and Minnie's funerals in an attempt to surveil those who came to grieve. This is often done since killers will sometimes want to watch the effects of what they caused or interject themselves into the investigation. We've talked about that before. On the cold case episode, Dennis Hadler, who was Minnie's son, said that during the funeral he put his hand on his mother's casket and vowed he would never stop looking for whoever had done this.
Yeah.
From everything I saw, it sounds like they were a pretty tight-knit family, too. Like, they had this big Christmas party every year. Like, they did the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. On December 31st, the police received a tip about someone seeing a man running from the Yardbirds parking lot carrying what looked like a gun wrapped up in cloth. I saw that there may have been multiple tips, but I wasn't able to confirm how many. Anyways, someone calls in. They describe the man as having dark, wavy, or curly hair, possible beard or facial hair, wearing an army green jacket.
Okay.
Police worked with this tipster or perhaps other ones, I'm not exactly sure how many people. And they created this sketch that was posted all over the news and town in hopes someone would recognize the assailant. They received a lot of tips, but nothing led to anything substantial that would move the case along. I even saw that they actually compared the sketch to people that had worked on the farm during that time.
Okay.
Because there was the thought maybe it was somebody that had worked on the farm, saw, ooh, they have this or that, they must have money. Yeah. So they compared it with people who had worked during that season or even previous seasons, I think.
Yeah.
But again, nothing turned up.
Okay.
So by this point, they had pretty much ruled out any family members since none of them really matched the sketch. They had passed polygraphs or were otherwise able to be ruled out.
Okay.
And this is really where the case goes cold.
I hate it when they go cold.
I know. So with no DNA evidence available at this time.
Yeah.
Fun fact, it was first used only a few years later in 1987 in the U.S.
Okay.
And no solid suspects or leads, the investigation is indefinitely stalled. I was wondering about the cigarette butts because if they would have kept those, DNA testing was not that far away. If they would have tested those or kept them and then potentially tested them after the fact, because that is how a lot of cold cases are now being solved. Yeah, people are using DNA evidence from cases that happened way back in the day because somebody had the forethought to save that evidence because someday maybe it would be able to be tested for something.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see anything like that for this case. I don't know. I'm assuming it wasn't anything like that they could confirm.
Yeah.
Years passed with no new leads on this case, and Minnie's family actually hired a private investigator, Chris Peterson, who was a retired sheriff detective, to help find answers. So, 20 years later, in 2005, Detective Bruce Kimsey took over the cold case investigation for the Lewis County Sheriff. At this point, the case, like I said, was 20 years old, and the killer had been walking free. Bruce started combing through the boxes and boxes of evidence, statements, etc. that had been collected over the years. He approached the case as a brand new case and went through every single piece of information that was available. So when Detective Bruce took over the case, In 2012, an article ran in a local paper as a way to renew interest in the case and hopefully bring forward some new evidence.
Okay, so this is just a cold case article. It's not any new information. Just like one of those, like,
just keeping it in people's minds.
Keeping it in people's
like, hey,
minds.
this hasn't been solved yet.
Okay.
And the article actually helped generate some movement in the case. The Cold Case Files episode discussed how an acquaintance of Mike Hadler, who was the grandson who had been looked at pretty hard, ran into him, and told him he had to confess. Not to the murders, but to having held back a tip that could help solve the murders years ago.
Okay.
So back in 1985, this witness had been driving with his mom on Highway 12 near the Maurin home. The car in front of them was driving extremely slow, and the man told his mom to pass them. As they passed, he actually recognized the car because Ed Minnie had a very recognizable car, especially if you're in a small town. You know who drives what.
Okay.
As they did, they saw Ed and Minnie in the front seat, but he also saw two men in the back seat. And he knew exactly... Two men, yep. And he knew who those two men were. Ricky and John Rife, who were brothers that were well known to law enforcement.
Of course.
They were known drug users and dealers and had also been suspects back in 1985. They matched the description given by some witnesses who had seen men near the Maurin home near or around the time of the murders. The witness had been living with the guilt of knowing who probably had killed Ed and Minnie for nearly 27 years.
Yeah, you saw who was in the car. Mm-hmm. But they probably also saw you.
Yeah. Because according to the episode, he had reasons not to come forward. After the incident, seeing the Rife brothers in the car, he was approached by Ricky in the days following, and Ricky asked him who he had told. The witness said he hadn't told anybody, and then Ricky told him if he did tell anyone, the same thing that had happened to the Maurins would happen to him, his mom, his entire family. The brothers also started driving by his house and threatening him on a the threats continued, from what it sounds like.
Just driving by, pointing at their eyes, pointing at you, pointing their eyes, pointing at you, like.
He actually, the witness on the documentary said that he started carrying a gun with him all the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he still does.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it. So with this new information, Bruce, the detective, and Chris, the private detective that was hired by Ed and Minnie's family, started working like crazy to put together the puzzle so they could get a warrant and an arrest made. They were able to track down John and Ricky, who had moved to Alaska in 1987, 2 years after the murders. I question why this guy didn't come forward after the fact, like when they moved away. Yeah. But I think he was young when this happened, so he probably was terrified, like, they're going to find out and that I told and something's going to happen to me. Because I think also the company that John and Ricky kept can be a very tight-knit community when somebody snitches.
Yeah.
You know? So I do see where he probably still was afraid of what would happen. But in July of 2012, police headed out to Alaska to interview John and Ricky. They learned that John had died of natural causes just weeks prior to them flying out to Alaska. Now, he was only 50 at the time.
Okay.
But he also was a drug user, so I don't know if that had something to do, because natural causes, like, 50's pretty young to die of natural causes in my mind.
Yeah.
But if you didn't take good care of your body, drugs, drugs, there could be any number of things.
It's not old age, but it could still be
old age adjacent.
Yeah, more than likely like a heart attack is what I would think. 50's prime age for those.
So Ricky was interviewed for a few hours, and the next day he waived his right to how did they put it? He decided
to remain silent.
No, he decided to. He didn't fight being extradited back to Washington.
Okay.
So he was on a plane back home to Lewis County, and on November 18th, 2013, he was found guilty of the murders of Ed and Minnie Maurin and was sentenced to 103 years in prison.
Okay.
He maintained his innocence and has denied involvement ever since.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't believe you.
Well, now let's talk about this guy a little bit because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much background because I really don't feel like he deserves any type of recognition whatsoever. But I do want to give you a background on the kind of man who could shoot 2 elderly people in the back over a measly $8,500. And again, I say measly. In my mind, $22,000 is not enough to kill somebody. However, if you're that type of person,
it might be more than enough.
It could be more than enough, way more than a life cost in their eyes.
There's 2 of them, they're splitting in half.
Yeah.
It's only about $11,000 each.
Yeah. Turns out, not the cream of the crop, this one.
Yeah.
During the trial, it was discovered that Ricky had also been questioned but never charged with sexual abuse of a minor in the 80s. Now, I'm happy to report that he was also convicted of the sexual abuse of a child charge in 2014 and was sentenced to an additional 6 years. Now, I read through the victim's name was never given that I saw, and even if it was, I don't think it doesn't bear repeating because she doesn't need that type of notoriety.
Yeah.
She was 10 years old when her mom was either dating or living with Ricky.
Okay.
And he had molested her at 10 years old. Although he appealed, the judge denied his appeals, and he remains incarcerated to this day. Now, I also saw an article mention that while in Alaska, Ricky had a wife who had told people she thought he had committed a murder, and then she died by what was ruled suicide not long after. Because it was ruled a suicide, the evidence was destroyed.
Every time.
I have doubts that this woman committed suicide.
You have doubts that the woman could... Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to know what that evidence was.
Yeah.
Because if he had no qualms about shooting an 81-year-old and an 84 in the back, killing a wife who could possibly expose him, probably not too high on the...
It's not that far-fetched.
Yeah. Not too far off his moral compass. Like, I don't think he really has a moral compass. So, just a theory, but I kind of feel like the guy is capable of just about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the child molestation charges is just so he could, like, have a little rougher time in prison.
Hopefully.
It's like, one could hope.
One could hope, yeah. So, after 27 years... The murder of Ed and Minnie was caught.
Yeah.
2 folks enjoying life and having it ended by some greedy little fucks, which just pissed me off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're in their 80s. Like,
yeah.
It's just so awful to think. Like, who could do that to a sweet old couple? Like, I just keep imagining my grandparents, and the pictures I found of these 2, they're just adorable. Like, they totally remind me of, like, the image I have of my grandparents when they were in the 80s. The pictures that I've seen and what I remember. And it really makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Merry Christmas, y'all!
Yeah, so that's the story of Ed and Minnie Maurin.
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 Like a Warren with an M?
Nope, Maurin.
Maurin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Like morning, but without the first N.
Well, an A and a U.
Yeah, I'm just saying how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Just like Frontier.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So... that is today's episode. Ed and Minnie, their family really was devastated by this whole thing, as anybody would be. Like, It's just awful to think of. So as always, thank you guys for listening. Please help us out by giving us a rating, a review. Don't forget to subscribe, share, download our show on whatever platform you're listening to. That really helps boost our visibility to other people. Helps us grow our creepy little show. Also, please help us out by sharing us with friends, family, social media, strangers in the street, all the things. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We're on Twitter for now.
Yep.
Also, check out our website at creepycascadiapod.com, or you can send us an email at admin@creepycascadiapod.com. Thank y'all for listening, and we will be back next week. We hope y'all have a creepy week, and we'll be back at it next Wednesday.
Yeah, don't be afraid to engage. I feel like I keep posting questions whenever I share, and nobody engages. Nobody answers my questions. Nobody.
Yeah, we definitely we want to make it a space that is people can share. We love good memes and gifs.
Yeah.
We are those people.
Yeah, my questions are not rhetorical.
Yeah,
at all.
No.
The mental hospital one, I was like, what do people think of when they think of classic mental hospital treatments? And I got zero
I don't think
hits.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean it was my Facebook. It was when I shared the Facebook.
Yeah.
I get the likes.
Yeah.
People hit the like buttons, but
you'll have to post in the actual group.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we hope you have a creepy.
Hit it with that yawn.
Yep.
Maybe you should redo that one.
I'm bored. I'm boring myself. We hope you all have a creepy week. Get your Christmas lights up. Take your Halloween decoration down if you haven't already. Me.
Yeah, we bypassed Thanksgiving. I mean, we ate all the food, but we didn't put up any. We're not that household. We don't have fall Thanksgiving decorations. It's Halloween straight to Christmas.
That's right. As God intended. All right, guys. Have a good week, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.